Okay, so this is the first one where the user must be able to search existing dealer by dealer name, address, and etc. But I've just the etc. I don't know what it is, so I just canceled it out, and I've taken partial dealer name and partial address. So this is my tree. I did not try for the no data. So if I have to go on my rflon.
Not the test case yet. Let's see here.
Okay.
So can you explain the requirement, what your understanding is?
What it says is the user must be able to search existing dealers. So there can be many dealers. I have created one, and they have specific address like Columbus, or they have specific shop retail names like German Honda or something. So we should be able to search the dealer with respect to the specific partial string that we are going to give in the text field. So since I'm taking only 2 test cases here with dealer name and address, I'm providing a partial dealer name, or this is one test case, or the other one would be the partial address. So if I'm saying only CO, all the records for Columbus for address should be displayed. If I say ABC, then the string which appears in the dealer name as any of this should be all the records should be displayed on the screen. That's what I just tried that and it works that way.
Okay. Now, what's the reason you scratch out the etc. part?
I don't know what to specify. There are so many things. The shop name and many are there. So I thought if you say that the shop name or the franchise's number is needed, I can add that too. And I can again give the test cases here.
Okay. So the requirement, you should have clarified it. First of all, that requires further clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you assume the partial searches are allowed?
If you say on the when I tested
the address,
yes, it does allow. If you just give some partial string, it displays all the matching applications.
Okay, so you work with the system and then you went and created your test cases. It sounds
no,
like.
Yeah, I created this. I created this too, and I was not sure, so I did not write the partial first, only for the dealer name, but I did not go for the address. But then when I checked for the address, it works the same way, so I gave the partial part.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead, Billy.
It's a couple of questions, right? When you say it works for partial address, right? So you updated your test cases based on what you saw in the system, not necessarily based on your requirement. Is that right?
Yes, I could say that after checking the system. Yep.
Okay. So my question is, when you say a partial address, do you know it's a partial street address, partial state, partial city? What exactly you mean by partial address?
I'm assuming everything. Like if I say Lewis Center, if I give LE, it's going to check for, like I'm assuming Lewis Center, but whatever is the partial string. So there's something called Lebanon there. So it also displays that record. So if I give for the dealer name, if I give German, so if I give German Honda, or rather if I give GE, it's displaying me all the records for only German Honda and all that. So that I just checked it and it's not with respect to what I see, rather I'm just thinking that the dealer name. So I created a dealer name Bob Root, and I did say Bob Root. So it takes the first name and the last name. So I did say BR, and it's giving me that, it displaying that record for me.
Okay, so Swapnali here, I mean, you took some liberty in your creating the test cases. In fact, I mean, I guess most of you guys did. I think only one student sent me email regarding the clarification, asking what it's supposed to mean, what is supposed to be, etc. And for certain requirements. I think there are other requirements that has etc. in it, and so forth. Now comparing with the system, remember you will not have the system. Okay, when you are writing the test cases, you will never have system. I mean, you could have system if you are working on an existing system and enhancements, but that doesn't mean that whatever is implemented in the system, you are writing in the test case. So you should always go by the requirement, get a clarification if you don't understand, and work through that process only. I think here you probably assume that since system is working the way it is, you assume it is correct, and then you try to create your test cases based on that, which is not the approach you want to take.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Harshil.
Oh, no worries, no worries. This is the classic example you're gonna run into every time for the enhancement type of projects, and that's how I think you will run into this situation all the time. But you always come back to the business analyst or business and clarify.
Okay.
And then verify the system, actually validate whether the system is implemented correctly or not, and so forth. Okay. So here I think the explanation I'm giving here is since you guys had etc. right? So to simplify it, I'll ask you to remove the etc. But you do want to have the dealer and address, right? So now you have two fields over there. So partial searches, I mean, since the system is working that way, not that it's specified in the requirement, again, you have to clarify it, but I'll allow the partial search as well here. Okay, so whatever two test cases that you have should be okay, but again, breaking down the address further, right? That's something you can do. Does anybody else has a different number of test cases other than two? Anybody else has more test cases in the tree?
No, I did not do any test cases for this because I felt the requirement was incomplete, saying etc. and also not mentioning partial or full name to search.
Okay. Generally, you guys need to clarify that, right? So do send me an email or text me, whatever it is convenient. I think generally email is the best way, and I'll clarify that for you. So I don't want to hold your homework just because of the requirements are not clear. That's part of the process. Okay.
Okay.
All right. But anybody else had additional test cases? What I'm asking is, did anybody have any other test cases other than this two?
Can I tell something?
Yes, Susri, go ahead.
Yeah, I did also feel like the requirement is not complete, but I tried to write the test case with the first name, the last name, and matched with the system also.
Okay.
And few things are working, but few, as you said, partial search also. In that partial search, for few cases is working. And also for partial search, we need to know like how many characters, maybe 2, 3, 4 for name, and also for the address also, it's like first like the street address or the second address, that also we need to be clarified from the business.
Okay. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Okay. So the requirement says, I think this is the one, requirement 1.1. That's the one she shared. The user must be able to search existing dealer by dealer name and address, etc. Right? So this is the requirement. Now, I think Susri, I think you saying that there is a first name and last name. Do you think it will come in the picture for the dealer, first name and last name? Who is a dealer? Is this a company or is it a user?
Is the company.
Okay, so you won't have first name and last name when you are talking about companies. You will not have first name and last name, right?
That needs to be specified, right? Because in that, whatever I saw means matched with the system, I saw like dealer names different. It's created in like that. Let's say like.
Again,
Yes, yes.
don't look at the system. Okay, because system has so many bugs. And
Yeah,
your
even
your job is to find that later on.
Yeah, I
those
tested
bugs.
also with the like single name.
Okay.
Yeah, means taking I created one applicant like some name and attached with the dealer name like Tansky Toyota, and try to search for the first name and the last name in the lender module.
Okay, I think you not sure. I need to see your actually test scenarios, but it sounds like you are doing something different socially. Okay, so here in this particular requirement, right, etc. part, we are removing that. I'm asking you guys to remove because it could be once I'm clarifying it for you. There is no need for etc. here. Now dealer name and address, right? So here, what we are saying is there is a one test case with the dealer name search, and second would be for the address. Okay. Now this one is fine. Now here, I'm also clarifying the requirement for you that it can be partial searches. So partial dealer name or partial or address for now, right? So if I type in GER, where I'm searching by dealer, I should expect to see all the dealers matching with the German or German Toyota, German Honda, whatever it is. It should show up in the search results. So this is the first one. Now on the address side, is it possible? What's included in the address? Has anybody looked at in the data section?
I think it includes the number of the location plus the street
address.
street name.
So it's a street name, right? You are saying the number, whatever the street number is. Then
Yes.
city, generally it has a city, it has a state, and potentially city, state, zip code, right? So zip code. So these are the fields. Now, when you are talking about address, is it going to be, are you searching on street name, city, state, zip? That's the clarification that you guys require, okay? You as a QA, you should never assume how or whatever basically, or how it's supposed to be implemented, okay? So you always come back to the business and ask for information. And here I'm clarifying for you. You can search by street name, okay? City and zip, okay? So this number 2 will break down to this one. And so this requirement, you could potentially have 4 different test cases. You are searching for city, you are searching for street, you are searching for zip code, or you are searching for dealer name. Does it make sense? Or there is some any confusion here?
So again, for the address, are we searching with the partial street name, city?
Yeah, the partial, right? So even if it's a partial, it will always, if you supply the full city name, again, it will do the partial search anyway. So this would be the partial. All the searches would be partial. So if you supply German Toyota, right? Full, even if you supply full name, it will match it with the German Toyota anyway. So full name is already included. Go ahead, Dylan.
One of the other thing that you want to start thinking about it is Now the address is composed of 3 elements here, right? Street name, city, and zip. Are you required to provide all 3? Just one of the 3? Or a combination of 1, 2, or 3 elements
Right.
for the search?
Yep. So that would be the question again. And since I think most of have seen the design or actual system, so that kind of like limits their ability to think a little bit outside what they have seen, I think.
Right.
Here.
No,
But
that's why
yeah,
I'm pointing
yeah,
it out to the
yeah.
class here, right?
Right.
When you have more than one element included in the search, it is like it's kind of, do you have an and relationship or do you have an or relationship, right? So like it's within address, you have 3 elements, but then the question comes at, do I do it either by name or by address? Or do I do with, what happens if I put name and address both? Then what should be my search results? Another scenario is, what if I don't put any of the data and click on search? Should it return everything or should give me an error message?
Right. So it could be the combination. Generally, I mean, again, so that right now the design that you saw, right? You have a single text box, and you have a basically search button. So user is typing in something here. That's the design in our flow. Okay. But and so what's happening is if you type in GER or Germain, what it's gonna do, system will do technically is it will look into this particular field wherever it's stored. It will also look up here, and look up into the zip code. And wherever it will find Germain, it will return all the dealer's information, whether it's in the address or it's in the dealer name. Okay, so that's how the system is working. But if you have something else design-wise, let me just throw out that here. And this is our search. This is name. This one is address. Okay, city and zip. This is street address. Okay. Can anybody tell me same requirement, now different implementation here? Can anybody tell me how many test cases you would have on this particular layout? Or do you guys have any question for this layout? Again, it's the same functionality, okay? It's the same dealer name, it just implemented a little bit differently here. How many test cases you would have for this requirement? Any thoughts
I think
for anybody?
9.
Could you repeat that again, please?
So right now, the screen, this is the given screen layout for the search. Okay, so this is the search screen. Okay, and you have 4 fields: dealer name, street address, city, and zip, and you have a search button, and you are trying to find a dealer. So how many test cases you would write in order to test this screen functionality? How many test cases you will have technically?
5 of them.
How can you tell me what are those 5?
One is for the name.
Okay.
One is for the street. One is
Okay.
for the city, and one for the zip, and the other one with no data search.
Okay, so you have 4 each and then no data. Okay, so that's how you are coming up with the 5. Okay, anybody else has any thoughts? Anybody else has any different test cases that you can think of?
I think there can be more combination, maybe name, address, city, zip may not be required.
Okay.
We need to clarify first.
Okay, so that those are the questions where you need to ask, right? So here it can be anything, right? The name, user will enter name and they will enter street address and then hit on search button. That's a possibility, right? They could enter address and city and zip and then hit a search button, or they can have name, they can fill out all 4 fields and hit a search button. So you can really see the combinations here, right? The ways it can happen for you. Right? So it's a combination.
Yeah, it totally
Basically.
depends on the business, I think. Only name also can work.
Yeah, only name can work, or if they just say because remember the user, right? If I am sitting on front of computer and somebody comes up, hey, who is a dealer? So I'm just looking at, hey, I want to find all dealer in this particular zip code. So I will go and enter zip code and search on it. Or I will say, oh, I want to use the zip code and city. If the city has multiple zip codes, kind of like a Columbus, right? It has multiple zip codes. So you will narrow down the search. Again, you can be as specific if you enter the street address and maybe partial dealer name. So that there can be n number of combinations, right? So you need to think through, and your test case, number of test cases will go up because you have different combinations here. Right, so you have these two, these two, these two, then you have these 3 in one combination. So Dilip, what is the formula for that? For the combination here?
Yeah, it's actually permutations, right? Not the
Permutation, yeah.
combinations.
Sorry,
It's got to be
permutation.
permutations.
Yep,
So
permutation.
it is like it's one, like it's whatever the number is, right? So like you start with 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, right?
Yep.
That's at the minimum. That's what the case you needed. It's a 4 factorial because that's what the permutations are.
Yep.
NPR is that.
So this many test cases, you can technically write it, come up with the screen, with the different combinations. Okay. So I'm just telling you guys that you don't look at the system and look at the requirement first. Try to understand that and then write your test case based on that and clarify it. And depending on the clarification, you will have more than here. Nobody asks how the address will work with the dealer, right? Can they enter? Can they search by address? Can they search by dealer name? Even if you go back to this particular design here with a 1 field. So
the other risk you have to think about, it's like it's in the event that you have a system and you modify your test cases just to focus based on what is available in the system, then you miss the point whether did the system or was the system implemented correctly or not, right? Because your job is not to just say is the system working correctly and then let me update the requirement based on system. It should be the other way around. Do I have a requirement and does the system conform to those requirements?
Yep. Okay, any question before we move on to the next one?
So here, can we ask the business if the combination should be, or is it like only the street, only the city, or zip? Or should it be combination?
Well,
So
that's where you should, like, it's go ask question. Whenever there are more than one field that's involved in a search, right? You need to understand it is are all those fields exclusive? In other words, can I provide only one or the other, or can I provide more than one? Second question is, when there are more than one field information is provided, then should your search criteria use the and, which is essentially a combination of those two, or they should give you a result which matches either or scenario, right? So for example, if I just say it's Germain and let's say Ohio, or since it's city, let's just say it's Germain and Columbus, then your question should be is, should the return result display criteria which meets both Germain and in Columbus? Or should it return it anything which matches German and anything which matches Columbus? Those are two different requirements. Those are two different implementation requires. And based on that, your expected result is going to be completely different.
Okay,
So, Harshal, I have a question.
sure.
So, for example, here we are estimating a 24 test cases. So do we need to write down each test case separately with the different combination?
That is exactly what it is. Yep.
Okay.
So one requirement can blow up to the 24 test cases or 23 test cases, whatever number is.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Because you as a tester, you should be testing everything. Otherwise, you're gonna have bugs in the system. If you miss one, that means that combination will not work during the search, and it will show the incorrect result. So
Okay.
you're supposed to test all the combinations.
Okay.
And
So,
search can really get complicated, okay, in the testing world. So
yes, absolutely. So can I ask you a question about the title of the test case? So should we need to be brief in the title of the test case, or should we need to elaborate whatever we are thinking we need to put it in?
so
So
here yeah, go ahead, Dilip.
Dipal, I would not too much concerned about the title, right? The first focus should
Okay.
be is how many different test cases you needed. And your
Okay.
title should reflect the condition which you are trying to like test it in that particular test case,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because when you do it 24, well, obviously there's going to be different conditions, right?
Yes.
One will be just search only by name. So your title should reflect it. Hey, I'm trying to search by name. Second one would be a title reflected by street name and city. Third one could be a street name, city, and zip, right? So your title should always reflect what condition you're trying to test it.
Okay. Understood. Yes. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
my question is, so are you saying that all the 24 test cases should have a title?
Each test cases which is unique should have a title. So if you are going to write 24 unique test cases,
Yeah.
then 24 should have title. Again, you guys are missing the point, right? It's not about the title. It's about that you need to test those 24 different conditions.
Remember, I mean, in the tool, first thing you have to enter is a title, right? If the
Yes.
title, if you copy paste the title then if somebody is looking at those test cases, they cannot figure out what is different unless they go and look into the steps and the test data and everything. So your title should reflect what is the test case is about, what condition you are trying to test. You should put that clarification right there.
Okay, I was just getting a little bit ahead of myself. So on these test cases, then then after that we will write the steps.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, steps are detailed, right? And this is
Yes.
right now we are on the scenario tree, just trying to figure out how many test cases
Okay.
or how many scenarios we have and how many test cases it goes along with that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Then you will write detailed test case for each of those
Yes.
condition. Yep.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's the reason it's a full-time job, right? Because they hire you full-time. Why? Because this takes time
Yes.
to come up with these things, right?
Steps. Okay.
So Harshal, I have a question here.
Yes.
Can I just make two test cases? So one for the name and one for the address. And in the name, the test step should be initially with the partial name and then click search. And in the same next step, name with the street, click search. and then again name with the city, search again, name with a zip, like that in the same test case, but different test steps?
No, you have to have 3 different test cases. So here, if you are talking about this one, right, that we have came up with earlier. So we are talking about 4 test cases, right? You have 4 different test cases you need to write. You don't want to mix them up, right?
So Nilima, think about this way. If you write all of those different conditions, everything into one test case, and one of them fails, how do you know what part of the system is working and what is not working?
Yeah, then the
Because you
total
failed your
will
test case,
be-
right?
The total will be failed.
Right.
That's
So when the total is failed, you don't know which condition still works, which one doesn't.
true. Yeah, got it.
Okay. All right. So shall we move on from this one?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, hopefully you guys are getting the idea, right? I mean, hopefully it clarifies for you. So let me flip to the second one. Okay. So now I'm looking at 2.1. So it says need ability. Again, it's a search, right? Let me actually go to the 2.2. Okay. So requirement 2.2. The following application is required for applicant: first name, last name, SSN, date of birth, address, phone number, gross monthly income, position, etc. Okay. So let's come back here, or if anybody wants to share what they came up with. I think only one person asked me for clarification, send me in the email. Nobody else did, but I'm gonna clarify for you.
Yes, Harshal, because we didn't send you email. We already discussed that part.
Okay.
So in
So
our
what you guys
online,
discussed? Yeah,
yes,
tell
the
me.
same thing.
Okay.
For the requirement that has etc. part, we need to go back to the business user and ask the same question.
Okay.
What do you mean by this etc.? So he needs to be clarify here for a particular requirement 2.2.
Okay.
What are the what are the informations, uh, whatever name, last name, SSN, they need to clarify the whole list.
Right.
Then we can run the test.
Okay.
So
So
first of all,
I'm going to simplify it for you here, and I'll just say for now, ignore etc. So it is not required basically. What our fields are specified, those are the only required fields. So with that clarification, did you guys have how many number of test cases that you guys have, or the scenarios? What scenarios you would have? What I'm
so
saying is etc. Just ignore that. It's not needed in the requirement. Again, don't look at the system the way it's implemented or anything like that, because that's maybe wrong in the system itself. First name, last name, SSN, date of birth, address, phone number, employer. How would you test that if you have all these fields to validate whether it's required or not?
I think same
again, we need to go back to the business owner to ask for the address requirements. Do we need to do the whole address or partial address?
Okay.
I mean, for
Okay,
each
so
we have to
hang
ask.
on. I think Dipal, may I, like I said, if you're looking at requirement 2.2,
Yes.
there is no search. This is for creating credit application. Am I
Now,
reading it
Dilip,
right?
I think Dilip, what she's saying is, since address includes multiple fields,
Yes.
what fields are required from the
Okay.
address itself?
All right. So
Yeah.
Okay, so then like it's the component, not necessarily whether
Yeah.
it's partial or not, right?
Right.
Because okay, go ahead. Then I misunderstood. Go ahead.
Okay. So at this point, I would say all the fields that belongs to the address, they should be required for the main applicant. So it is said it's required for the applicant, right? So yeah. So all the fields for the address
Yes.
are required.
Yes.
So how would you test
Now,
this?
Herschel,
sorry.
if I may challenge, right? Like I think
Yeah.
some of the participants mentioned that, hey, this requirement is incomplete.
Okay.
Remember, like it's what we talked about, it is requirements. And do you have any other supplement document, which was a design document?
Yep, that's correct.
Can you decipher based on the requirements and the design document, not the system, but the requirements in the system design document, that whatever you needed in order to implement the 2.2, do you have all that information? So in other words, the data table or data section within the design document, did it answer your ETC question to identify what all fields are required?
Yes.
Yes, but here all the required information not here.
Okay,
Did
so then I would change my clarification to whatever is specified in that section. Those are the fields that whichever are marked yes, they should be required when you are entering the application or creating a new credit application.
okay.
Got it? So maybe that's a good point, Dilip. So etc. The clarification here, what the etc. means, and it should point to the data section. Whatever is there, whatever is required, it should be required. So hopefully this requirement is clear then. It's not that complex here because there is not much complexity here, right? So with that clarification in mind, how many test cases you guys will have it? And how would you test it?
9 test cases.
Yes, for 2.2.
Yeah, 9 test cases.
How many?
9.
9. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
It is more than 9 because system design document says many more requirements, required information is still not here. But as Dilip taught us, we need to come up with the combination. I guess we need a little bit of math here, probability.
Okay. Anybody else has any different thoughts?
I did 2 test cases for this.
Okay, which one you did?
2.2.
I know, but what are those 2 test cases?
So
Just
when they,
high level, yeah.
Yeah, so when they said all these information is required for the applicant, so I put them in a precondition that the first name, last name, Mrs. NDOB, all those things are mandatory.
Explain your scenario, right? So when we say scenario, right?
Yeah.
So tell me what is a high level thing? How would you test this thing, right?
Create credit application with all the valid data,
okay,
required data. And another one is create the credit application with missing data.
Missing means without the required data. Is that what you mean? Or
yes.
what is missing when you say missing?
So like they said, these things are mandatory.
Okay.
We have to see if we miss one thing, what would be happen? Like the first name, if I miss the first name and give everything else, will it save or not the new credit application?
So if you miss just one thing, right? So that's not going to meet the criteria for the requirement, right? What if there's something else is missing and you are still able to create the application?
So I thought about like 2 things for this one. One scenario has only 2 test cases and another one has 10 of them. So the first one is same with the valid data and the second to 10th is missing one of the field each time. Missing first name one time, last name another time.
So 2.2, I think most of you have something like this, right? So you have field 1 missing or field 1 or whatever. Then you have field 2, field 3, field 4, and whatever number of fields you will identify, those are the test cases you will have. Is that correct? Is that how you guys are creating it?
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's what you have, right? And for you specifically, you have this missing.
Yeah.
And then you have valid. Okay.
True.
And valid has a one, it's valid. So this is the one, but then you have all the lips. Other folks, I think you guys have this 1 to 10 or 1 to 15, depending on number of fields. Is that correct, Deepal and other folks?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Anybody else has any different thoughts?
Herschel, just one thing came in my mind when I was checking the system design document right now. So there are required information. Number of those required information is around 50 for the whole credit application.
Okay.
But when I tried to apply for the credit application in the system, there are two kind of credit application, 90 days and the convection. I totally forgot the second option.
Is that in the requirement, Deepal? Because
No,
don't worry about what's in this implemented in the system. Okay.
Okay.
You shouldn't be looking at that. As we said, you should never look at what's implemented in the system when you are writing your test cases.
Okay. So almost a 50 required information boxes
Okay,
in the
so you have
credit
50 fields, you have it. So you could have technically, according to your approach, you will have 50 test cases. Is that what you are saying?
Maybe, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was just counting.
Okay.
So if you're trying to do an exhaustive testing, right, then you should have 50 plus 2, right? So 50 is one validating each of the field. See what
Yes.
happens if you don't provide that field, it fails. Another scenario is by providing all the field and make sure it passes. And the another scenario is what if you don't put any? So no
Empty.
data, then what happens, right? That's a combination of all the 50. So you can technically say that, yeah, if I don't put any data, anything fails it or not, right? Again, here you don't need a permutation because it's each field is required, right? So as long as one of the field is not provided, which is required, you should be able to fail the test case. So that this is place where you will do the combination, not the permutations.
So Dilip, are you saying, so in case, let's say we put the address in and it's missing a zip field, then it's a field, right?
So think of this way. If 50 fields are required and one of them is missing, should you pass the test case, yes or no?
No.
No, right?
No.
So for those 50 field, if I take each one individually, I have to test it, making sure if I don't provide that particular field, it still fails, right?
Okay.
So that's the 50. Then I have to still prove it that if I provide you everything,
Should work.
does it pass? Right?
Okay.
And what if, like, it's another special case is, what if I don't provide anything? Do I get a different error message? Because think about it, right? When you're filling the form and if one field is missing, you don't want to just simply say a field is missing, right? You want to provide information about which field is missing.
Yes,
right? And when you don't provide any data, then you need to say, okay, am I giving you all 50 which are missing, or I'm giving you the first one which is missing?
Okay. Thank you.
Got it. So I mean, so you could technically have more test cases here, but again, it depends on the system design. I guess how the design is implemented or how the screens are designed. You might see 50 errors right there when you don't supply any data, and you should see 50 errors with all the fields that are required and missing. Okay, So that might be a design discussion. You should clarify with the team how they are planning to implement this requirement and adjust your test cases accordingly at that point. Because if they are giving you such simple error message right at the top, hey, this required data is not supplied, that means you have to have exhaustive tests for all these 50 fields one by one. But if they are giving you complete error messages for every field that's not filled out, then you can just go ahead with the 2 test cases, one with complete and one without it, and you should be good at that point. Otherwise, you will need to have 52.
So how many test cases will be here? Like one criteria for valid and one criteria for invalid?
So right now, since the system will tell you what fields are missing if you try to click on save, that's the design I'm giving you. Okay, that's based on the clarification. So you should have technically have 2 test cases. You can get away with you don't have to write 50 individually. You can get away with no data and valid data at that point.
Okay, so in the test steps, we have to include each and every field, right? So while testing, we can say, okay, the address is missing, or
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's something you can. I think you can put it if you are just saying, right, or whatever test data you are supplying, you can just put that.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
What test data you are supplying. So yeah.
So going back to the same thing, right? You have to provide only one condition per test case. You cannot just say, hey, I'm going to write multiple steps and each step is going to be a different condition. You cannot do it, right? So either you just say it as, hey, I'm providing all the data, right, which is a valid, or you can just say, hey, I'm not going to provide this 5 fields and make sure my message gives me that this 5 are required. Right? What Harshal is saying is that the behavior of the system is expected that it will list all the missing field in the event that you're trying to submit a form without the required field.
Okay, yeah, got it.
It will show you 50 errors right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whether
Yeah.
it can be next to the field or it can be at the top. It goes back to the implementation. But you will get 50 error messages on the page. Whatever is missing, they should show it.
Yeah, I got it.
Now, if you verify that, hey, this field is required but it's not there, that's what you should be checking on those 50. Because ultimately that's what you're testing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you are getting error message for the field that is missing and it's required for the required field.
So while writing the test steps, like if I said, okay, the address is missing, so it will not go to the next step, right? It will overwrite over there.
No, it's not about going to the next step because it's a manual testing.
Yeah. So
yeah, right?
like nothing, if any of the field is missing, it will fail the test.
No, you are the ones who is failing the test. It's not the tool.
Oh.
Okay. It's a manual testing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you are looking at this, logging into the actual application, you are trying to submit a credit application without the required fields. And then you are verifying, hey, which fields error messages I'm getting for all 50 or I'm getting for 49. That means there is a bug in the system. I should be getting for 50. And then you're gonna fail the test case. And log the defect, put all those details, which field is missing or which error message you are not seeing. That's why they pay you money, right? I mean, to find this type of defects in the system.
Yeah, got it. I did the same way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure you guys understand it's still manual testing. These tools are tools. They won't do anything for you. Okay, any other question on this particular one?
No.
Okay.
And Harshal, can we talk about the system or
not right now. Let us finish this part. And what is that you want to talk about system?
When we are trying to create the credit application, after filling up all the information, is going to the session timed out.
Yeah, so what you if you are a QA, where the QA is at, you are trying to execute the test case, I'm assuming, or with the steps. What would you do at that point?
It's a bug.
Yeah, that's all it is.
But after
So-
that, the credit application is still there, means it's created in the pending status.
Okay, so it's a bug, right? So you note down all the behavior, what's happening, document all that, and create defect, and send it to the developer to look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Harshal, I want to ask you something that Sushri was talking about.
Mhm.
So I experienced the same thing so many times at the end of the credit application that system kicks me out, and I totally understand that that is a bug. But how can we mention that bug to the developer, because there is a no requirement showing that issue?
No, you have to create a bug. Who is creating a bug? It's a QA, right? So you need to
Yes.
document all the steps that you are following through. If you are executing the test case and you are encountering while entering the credit app, right? So you should fail that step. Enter credit application, whatever step you are on. You should fill it right there. Take a screenshot of whatever behavior, or you add more details about what behavior you are seeing. So it's telling you, giving you error, but it's still creating the credit application. So you should note down, take a screenshot, and put as much detail you can in there.
Okay.
So think of this way, right? As a user, what are you trying to do? You're trying to create a credit application.
Yes.
Are you able to do that work successfully? Yes, no?
No.
That means you fail, right? So system is not doing what it should allow you to do it, to create a credit application.
Yes.
Right? So at that time, you just identify, hey, I was at such and such state, right? And sometimes it doesn't give an error message, it crashes.
Yes.
Right? So when system crashes, are you able to do your job? No. So that's when you open a bug and says, hey, look, when I'm trying to do this step, system crashes. And therefore you fail the test case because you're not able to successfully create the credit app.
So yes, a developer will take a look at it. They will try to simulate the behavior that you are doing. And sometimes they will reach out to you and sit down with you and ask you to show that. So you follow the steps and show them the same behavior. So if the steps are not clear. But again, it's the developer's responsibility to figure out what's wrong and fix it.
Yes. So can I ask you how many times the system crashes that that time we can say that is really a bug?
I would not even wait it
Yeah.
like it's multiple times, right? First time it could have been for some other reasons.
Yes.
Second time it happens, I would just report it as a bug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because now at that point, it's not just one-off behavior that could have caused because of some other system issues. It is a repeatable behavior.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
But Dilip, the problem is still it's creating the credit application.
Still, did you get the confirmation?
Yeah, I checked.
Okay, then I would still, like, it's kind of open a bug, but then I would just say that I was able to do it successfully, but then it doesn't allow you to stay in the system.
It kicks you out, right?
Because your post condition
Yes.
fails at that point,
Yeah.
right? That you're
Yes.
created successfully and you're still logged into the system. You are no longer logged into system.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So in that case, the priority of the bug should be not high, right?
I would not worry about you defining the priority, right? Let the project manager because can you proceed it further? The whole criteria you should use it to define the priority is, despite that bug, can I proceed it in the system? And if the answer is yes, can I do my business function? And answer is yes, then it's not high priority. But if I cannot do a business function, I cannot proceed any further, then it's a problem.
No, any further means what, Dilip? Is it like still staying in the system or just coming back to the system once more? Means logging into the.
It depends, right?
Yeah.
So think of this way, right? Here is the perfect example, right? And many times people have given this in the past, right? If you own a car
Mhm.
and you try to like it's kind of drive the car and you say it's, yeah, I reached it from point A to point B. But every time I put the car in the park, it shuts it down, right? And you don't know, you might have just put it in the park because your leg was tired and you're stuck in the traffic. Do you want the car to be shut down every time? Probably not, right? Because you're still trying to do things in the car, still trying to go to the other places. Same thing with the system. I could be doing other functions. It's still a bug because the system is not exhibiting the behavior that is expected.
Yeah, I understood it's a bug. But in that case, what should be really our main focus would be? It's on the
You should still
testing.
report any bug.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Identify any discrepancy, any unexpected behavior in the system and report it. That's what QA's role is. So yeah, even if you see a typo, hey, it's a bug. Okay, I mean, if they misspell something, that's a bug. But again, it's a cosmetic bug type of thing. It's not going to cause any issue. So you still report it. At some point, they will fix it. Basically. Okay, so let's move on to the last one. I think hopefully you guys understand the last one now, the requirement 2.1. Again, it's a search requirement, right? Did anybody give it a shot? Anybody want to take a shot at it?
So here I had a question like the ability to search existing credit application by all these fields or either of them.
Okay, so you are asking about and condition or condition and so forth.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here I would say here it can be anything. So if they enter applicant name, so they should be able to search by. So if they enter more than one, right? So it will be or condition here. So any in that case. So any combination will return the credit application results here.
Can you say that again one more time, Harshal?
Yeah, so Harshal, provide a clarity to them. I think it's what she's trying to ask a question around it. What if I provide an applicant name and social security number? Are you expecting the search result to find only the credit application where both of that information matches? Or return two different applications where one matches with the name and other one matches with social security?
So what I said is a or condition, right? So it will match with two applications, one matching with the applicant name, and second with the social security number.
Okay, so Deepal, does that help?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Any other thing on this one?
Question.
Yeah.
So you said that since it's a joint applicant, both information should be on the same form, correct?
Yes. If you look at the form, it has a joint applicant section. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's when you put one information in, it should put the same the same application with the information on it.
No, it's a one application, application with the applicant, right? So generally you have applicant, applicant is required, but then you might have a joint applicant as well.
Yeah.
So that's where they will fill out the joint applicant section.
Okay.
But I think it's an optional information. So
yeah. Okay.
Now, none of you thought about it, right? Because think of it, what is a common trend here, right? Credit application. When you say applicant name, is that a one piece of data or two pieces of data?
2 pieces of data.
So should I provide one or other or both?
First name and last name.
Right. So when they said applicant name, well, what is applicant name? Did you guys ask your business user?
Yes, we should ask.
Yes,
for the clarification.
because it is already an incomplete requirement. In that, we need to ask that first name, applicant's name need to be clear. First name or last name, the same rule apply to the joint applicant name, first name or last name.
What about address?
Address is the same thing, just only the street address with the number, or street address, city, state, and zip code, or partial address, or each one of them.
Right. So that's where it comes, right? I want all of you to think for a moment, right? It is when you read through the requirements, are you understanding it from a user's point of view? And if you don't think you are able to understand with the user's point of view, and there is an ambiguity, then you should list out, here are the questions that I would like it to understand it. So having that clarity, having those questions helps you to understand exactly what is in user's mind when they are writing this requirement for the system.
Okay, I guess everybody's clear on that.
So in this case, the 6 test cases will be there.
It would be 6 or more.
Or
Yeah, so the way I would do it here is I would actually draw a tree rather than just pulling out a number.
Right.
Because that visual always helps you. Right? Because remember, we said some of the pieces of information has multiple fields in it. Like, for example, applicant name has 2 different fields in it, first name, last name, right? And so whenever you have 2 pieces of information, you are like it's looking at 3 possible combination, right? Only first name, only last name, or a first name and a last name. Same thing goes with street, right? Same thing goes with city, same thing goes with zip. When you're looking at address, is it a combination of 1, 2, or 3 fields? Right. Social security, then you have a dealer.
Okay.
And then always I would just say is you should always test no data.
Well, you double number of times, right? Because you have joint applicant as well with the same information. Then you have dealer. And then you have no data. Without filling out any information in the search. Okay, and this one is with the or condition. That's what we are saying here. So any combination, if they can search on it. Does it make sense?
So how many test cases would be here?
How many you think it is going to be, Nalima? How many leaves we have?
Um,
8.
And
It is
Harshal said
6.
times
Yeah.
2, right? So 16
Oh,
16, okay.
plus that, right? So you guys have to think through those possibilities.
why times 2?
Because he said that there is an applicant name and then there is a joint applicant name.
let's
Okay.
see if it's yep, applicant name, joint applicant name, address, social security number, and dealer. I guess nobody asked about what address it belongs. Is it applicant or joint applicant? So I'm just clarifying for you. Applicant name, applicant address, as well as joint applicant address. Same thing with the social security number.
Hmm.
These
So
are
that's
two
in
different people.
two
Yeah.
times.
And then your social
And
security
Angela?
number is also going to be two different people's, right? Your primary applicant is going to have a different social security and a joint applicant is going to have different social security.
Yeah. Got it.
Now dealer will
So
be
the
same.
dealer,
Yeah, dealer will be same. It's not going to be different because it's a single credit application will be submitted by some dealer, right? It's not going to be different dealers. So that's the reason it's one, and no data is a one as well.
so the dealer here, is it the company or the person?
So I mean, think about it, right? I mean, if somebody is submitting a credit application, it is for
Okay,
through a dealer company, right? They are saying from this dealer company, we are submitting the
yeah.
credit application, right? So it's just a
Mhm.
dealer company, never a user.
Okay. So that means we need the address and everything.
Okay. So I think most of you did not have the test scenarios, I think, correct, right? I mean, I'm hoping now you have more clarity around these things. Any question on this one before we move on to something else?
So here, based on the requirement, the original requirement for this one, need ability to search the existing credit application. So in order to search the existing credit application, we as a tester, do we have to log in as dealer and create one credit application in order to search? Because we don't know what to search, what name to be searched.
So that's something you have to create, right? Your test data. So anybody wrote down this test case in with one of the condition?
Yes,
or condition?
I did like log in as a dealer and create new credit application.
So what are, tell me your logical steps. Okay. So what you have is this particular. So now we'll dive into the actual logical steps here. So tell me what are the logical steps? So you are logging in as a dealer. Log in as dealer. Okay.
Yeah. So
then what?
Create new credit application.
Okay. Create credit app.
So based on the fields given in the requirement,
okay,
I gave all of them.
Is that all you need, or you need all the required fields when you are creating the credit app? Remember, this is the search.
Yeah.
Okay. So all required fields.
Click save. Save this credit application.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then,
Okay. So wait. So all required fields, right?
Yeah.
Joint applicant is not required. Okay. So are you not testing the joint applicant? So you need to figure out what condition you are testing, right? So I'm assuming when you say you are supplying all required fields, you are supplying only the applicant information.
To create a credit application.
Is joint applicant required?
Not always.
Right? Not always. So when you say you are supplying all required fields only, okay, that means you are not supplying joint applicant information, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so let's go and see what's the next step here.
Save the credit application.
Okay, you are saving it. Then
and logging out as a dealer and log out as super user.
Okay, log in as super user.
and the ability to search the existing application.
Now what? If I am a super user, now what I'm supposed to do?
So when I created a new credit application, I gave some names to the person,
Okay.
like ABC.
Okay, search ABC as a applicant name.
Yeah, in the previous step where we created the credit application, I
Okay.
gave the information for all the fields which are required to search the existing credit application.
Okay. Search ABC applicant name, right? You are trying to find the credit application, right?
Yes, this is what I created through the above steps.
And
So I'm
search
searching with
credit
that
app.
information.
Okay. And what are you? So you are searching it. Then what?
So the credit application should appear.
Okay, credit application with ABC should
Yeah.
appear. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
For ABC applicant.
Yes.
Displays.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm assuming you have all the details in the steps, right? And you
Yeah,
have
yes.
expected result for every step.
Mhm.
And what is your precondition here? Do you have any precondition?
Yes, I do have the super user is
Okay.
training.
Okay.
Should be the super user already existing in the system.
Okay.
And his user ID and the password, I gave the ID and password also in the
Okay.
precondition. And
Okay.
also the dealer is also already existing.
Okay.
And dealer's ID and password also in the precondition.
Okay. Now here you are searching on the ABC first name, right?
Yeah.
So what your scenario is that ABC is a first name or last name?
First name.
This is the condition, or basically this is the scenario you have it. It should be reflected in your title as well. Okay. So your title should say search credit application by first name. Okay. Because that's the only piece of information you are supplying and trying to search the credit application here with supplying only ABC. So that's what your title should reflect, by first name only.
Okay.
Dilip, you want to add anything here?
No, I think it's good. On that
Okay.
one, I think what the points that you asked them to think about it is good, right? I want them to start thinking outside the box there.
Right.
So
Okay.
I would like to add one more thing here.
Okay.
So me and my team, like few of us are connected through WhatsApp, and we are discussing some of the questions. So when we discuss this requirement, some of them said like they can see the already existing credit application in the system. So that's when they gave those information while doing the search. So my question was,
you can do two ways, right? The steps, I would prefer this way, what you have. You can always search for the existing credit application. If you put that in precondition, that credit application already created and exists for this particular applicant with this, for this particular applicant, specific applicant. You can put that in precondition. Yeah.
But if we have only requirements and no system, we cannot always do that. So
right, that's 2 points, right? One is you can't do it if you don't have the data, right? For the precondition. Second aspect is in this scenario, it is okay because you're just searching it, right? So you're not I would say is modifying the application. But what if it's the scenario that you were trying to do it was to approve or reject? In those scenarios, you cannot run the test over and over again using exact same steps. Versus if you're always creating your own credit application, capturing that number, and then searching on it, you know that you can run it over and over again. It's a repeatable and it's predictable test case at that point.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Does everybody have something similar? Who wrote it? I'm assuming, hope you guys wrote it. Now you can compare yours as well with what we discussed here. And you should have something similar. It may you don't have, nobody has exact things, right? As long as your thought process is something similar, you are fine. Okay. So as I said, I mean, only one test case that you guys wrote here. Now you could have 16 or 14 we talked about with the similar steps, just with a different test data. Okay. I know a lot of you guys sent me the URLs as well. Do you guys need me to look at anything in the URL right now? Do you need me to pull up any test case so that we can review it here as a class?
Not mine, because I need modification for all the test cases.
Yep, I
based
think
on
you guys need to revise it. Right? That is based on what we discussed today. But I'm asking anybody else has anything as well.
Hey, Harshal, how do I send you the URL for the ones that I've done?
You just copy and send the URL. So as long as you are here, dashboard, right? This is how you can get on the dashboard. Just copy this URL and send me in the email. Okay, that's sufficient. If you are on a specific project, it's fine. It will work as well. Copy the URL at the top and send me so that I can see how your test cases are, and I will get access to the actual backlog items. I will not see the board, but I will see this view. So I can see, okay, if there are any test cases that you have created and so forth.
Okay. I have a question.
I think I'll send you. I'm sorry.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
had a question. I was trying to run the test, like the super user can create the dealer user and the RFREP. So I was trying to run the test, logged in as created the RFlow rep application, and then logged out, and then log back in as a super user.
Sure.
What am I looking for over there? I thought I'm missing, I'm not looking at something. How do I find out the RFREP user is there?
What was the requirement that you are working with? Can you repeat that? RFREP user can create different types of users. Is that the requirement?
Super user can create dealer and RFREP user, dealer user and RFREP user.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, go ahead, Dilip.
Yeah, so think about it this way, right? So once you create successfully, you have to validate it. How do you do that, right? So let's say you go to a bank and you say, hey, I want to open an account. Once they say, yeah, your account is open, how do you validate that? By logging in and checking it to see if that account exists or not, right?
Right.
So when you created RFREP user, right, one of the condition is going to be, hey, my user ID is going to be generated by the first name and last name, right? And whatever password I provided.
Right.
Now, can I use that user ID and a password and can log into the system successfully? If I can, then I know it's working. That's the step I have to do it for validation. If I cannot log in with those credentials, then I know the things didn't work.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, validation is
Thank
very
you.
important. Yep. So
Yes, I was, I'll send you my the URL and maybe you can
Sure.
take a look.
sure, sounds good. Yep.
Thank you.
Jessica, you were saying something?
Joyce.
Yes, Joyce. Sorry. Yeah. Somehow
I'm
I
gonna
remember
ch-
Jessica. I guess from
I'm
my
go-
work.
I'm
I
go-
guess.
I guess I have to charge you for calling me Jessica so many times.
One test case per time, right?
Yep.
I
that's
know,
correct.
right? Thank you. Yeah, I was saying that I sent you my URL and they said you couldn't access it.
The URL you sent me. Let me
Yes,
just pull that up. Okay. So, all right. I'm just trying to see. Okay, getcha. Okay, so here,
That's all you need. That, yeah.
there you go. I can access it.
Oh, now you can. Okay.
Yeah, because it's always about the project. So I think you up to project URL I can access. So, and then I can go to the boards.
Yes.
And I can see all the things that you have created here. Do you need me to need us to look at anything here? Any test case that you created?
Yeah, I think I created some, but I kind of got frustrated with some of them. So you can.
Okay, which one you think we should look at it?
Maybe we can look at the calculate loan, need ability to calculate the loan. And see
Okay.
if,
I'm
think
pulling
I
that
guess-
up. This one is empty, so let me see.
Oh, because I kind of got lost somewhere. Let me see.
So you guys need to send me the number, okay? Generally, so that way I know, okay, this is the test case. You guys need me to look at it, and I'll take a
Okay.
look at it. Because this number is unique, so it's easier for me to go check it.
I created some with you want me to go to the board and see?
Yeah, check it, and we'll come back to this one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But anybody else wants us to look at anything here? Any test case that you guys wrote down for this requirement or other requirements? Okay, that doesn't matter.
Harshal, I have another question.
Okay.
So I messed up a test case, I actually it's really messed up because I was unable to look for all the passwords and stuff.
Okay.
So I gave it my own, and then I found this page. So
Yep.
now, do I have to start a new project for that?
No, you just go in, right? Log into the dashboard and you find your test case and update the test case, the steps.
Yes, but when I go to run it, it still did not update when I did save and close. It did not update it, and when I do the run test.
You have to save it when you run it. So there is an option to save it. So kind of like I'm just picking any test case from here, right? This one has only one step. I don't think I can run the test case because
Yeah,
I
I
don't have
have-
access to the board.
I have some that has so many test cases on it, but I can't. I have
So
some
make
that
sure
has,
yeah. So what you need to do is every time you enter a steps, right? Unfortunately, I'm not able to enter. I can only view, read only. Okay, it's
Yeah.
read only for me.
Yeah,
But
okay.
there should be a save button here. Make sure you click on save.
Yes.
Then only it will save the information for you.
Okay. Because I've lost some of the information, but I'm
Right.
trying to go in and give you one that has all the test cases. But I can't
Yeah,
get
no
it.
worries. You
Okay.
can send me that when you find it.
Okay.
But anybody else? We still
Ashwin,
have a
can
few
you go
minutes.
over
So.
mine? I
Yes.
just want to see, like, is this the right thing or not?
So Dhanasri, let me see where. Did you send me here or you sent me in the
Email only.
Oh, you email? Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh.
That's okay. It will be okay.
Chinna, wait, Amma.
Okay. Which one, particular one, Dhanasri?
need ability to search, that requirement?
But you need to tell me the test case ID.
14, number 14.
14. Okay. 14. Yep. Okay. Gotcha. Is this a test case? I think this is a requirement. So.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
want
The actual test case. Because the requirement also has numbers. So this everything is here. Requirements, test case, and so forth. So let me 17.
17
Search
or 18. Yeah, the 17 one is valid
Okay.
one and the
Okay. All right. So this one is search existing credit application by dealer name. Okay. All right. So let's see. Can you just explain high level? Who are you logging in? Okay. So let's see here. I think you have the steps. Okay. So in the browser, you are logging in. Then you are logging in as a super user.
Yeah.
Right. So you have enter super user credential
ID
and click login. Yep. Okay. Now click on dealer management tab on the Airflow. Okay. On dealer search page, you can search existing credit application. One dealer search on dealer search tab, type dealers. So why
this
the
will not be the step, right? That's what.
yeah, it's pretty much step.
Okay.
But okay, on dealer search page, you can search. So I think you don't need step number 4.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you will end up on search dealer page.
Wait, Amma.
Okay.
So and then you are saying type Honda Marysville in the search tab. Now what are you expecting? You should put that in. Now what does successfully able to search Honda Marysville dealer? What does it mean? So
Like
that's what you are validating, right?
Uh-huh.
So you should say that, I mean, here you are able to verify that Honda Marysville dealer is shown in the search results. So it is listed in the search result because you need to verify that, right?
So that's the meaning of successfully able to search, right?
That's what you are trying to say. Okay. Again, everybody writes differently, but it just needs to be a little bit clear.
How to write it? What do you say?
I would put it something like you are able to view Honda Marysville dealer in the search result. That's the terminology, search results. Yep.
Okay.
You will have search and then you have results. Just like Google, right? You are searching something and you are seeing the results of that. Yep. Now you don't have preconditions here and post conditions here.
Oh, okay.
And what would happen here if you don't find it? If you don't have proper test data? If there is no Honda Marysville in the system, would you still be able to pass your test case?
No.
I didn't get you. What you said?
So if you are going through the steps and you type in Honda Marysville, but nothing shows up, does it mean the test case is successful, or does it mean the system has a bug?
Yeah, it's a bug.
It's not a bug. What if there is no Honda Marysville dealer in the
No,
system?
but if it's already in the system and it's not showing me, then it's a bug.
But where does it say it's already exists?
Oh.
Right. So that's the thing. You want to put it in precondition. Either you put it in precondition or when you are put the create Honda Marysville dealer steps right in your test case.
Oh, so first log in as a S training and then create a dealer like that. Create a dealer, then log out, then go to the dealer management and then search for the Honda management like that. Okay. Okay.
No, I mean, as training, you can create a dealer, right? Honda Marysville dealer, and then you don't have to log out. You are logging in as training anyway.
Yeah.
Then you go to the dealer management and search for the dealer, same dealer afterwards.
Okay. And what if it's not showing? Like I created the dealer and it's not showing then?
That means that's you are expecting, right? That dealer to show up in the search result.
Yeah.
Then you will open a defect. Yes, go ahead, Sess.
Okay.
Sess, you have a question?
Are we supposed to, no, this is Papnali. Are we supposed to mention the specific name of the dealer in the test case, or we can just say search by dealer name?
No, the logical steps and test case, right? So logically, yes, you don't have to specify when you are writing logically, but but logically it doesn't go in the system. Here you are typing the actual test case, which needs to be very precise. Okay, so you need to specify all the whatever test data you can.
Think about it. If you just put a generic dealer, then this will return a results as long as there's at least one dealer, right? But how do I know I was looking for a specific and I got that or not? That's why you need to provide a specific data. That's what the user data segment comes into play.
See, searching by dealer name, right? So you are trying to prove that system is working. When you supply the dealer name, you are seeing the matching results. So you have to supply specific dealer name, then only you can verify.
Okay.
Yeah. So you need to be very specific when you're writing the test cases.
I need to change mine.
Okay. All right. So I think you are missing the preconditions, Dhanasri. So make sure you add that up and correct those. And other test cases, whatever you have, make sure you have precondition like that.
Yeah. I will add that.
Yeah. And you can always add a step on the just before this first step by clicking on, I think, add a step button and highlighting this. So.
Okay. So precondition will be S super user is existing, right?
No, since your step does not include dealer creation process, right? So you need to add those steps, or you make sure you put it in the precondition that Honda Marysville dealer already exists in the system.
Okay, and super user.
Yeah, you can put that in. Yeah,
Yeah.
super user exists in the system.
Okay,
Yeah, which is fine.
And post condition will be like Honda Marysville in the system, right?
There is no post condition. You are not changing anything, right? For the searches, you wouldn't have post conditions.
Yeah, got it. I will add that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Harshal, can you just briefly talk about the post condition again? When can we create the post condition, and when cannot we create the post condition?
Well, so people, if I may just step in here and answer,
Yes.
right? So you should always have a post condition. The only question is the post condition same as a precondition or not? Right.
Okay.
So when you're not changing anything in the system, then your precondition and post condition is most likely going to be the same. But if you're changing anything in the system, then you're always going to have a different post condition. So for example, if the test case that you're trying to say, it's, hey, I can create successfully an RFLEP user, right?
Yes.
Then your post condition, it's remember that RFLEP user didn't exist before you ran the test case.
Yes.
But it did after you completed the test case successfully, right?
Yes.
So you should always have post condition, because now that's a different information than what it was before the system.
Yes.
Right. So post condition is just only about what should be the state of the system, or what should be true in the systems once you're successfully done with your test case.
Okay. So
right. Now let's take an example, like the search, right? Before the search in your system, dealer existed, right?
Yes.
After the search, was there any change?
No.
No. So then if you don't specify post condition, did it matter much? Probably
No.
not, right? Because nothing was changed in the system.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So if you can open my URL, that's okay too. And if you can give me the answer, that's okay too. I was exactly talking about the same requirement Dilip was talking about. Area manager can create RFREP user.
Okay.
So
let me just check it, since I think we still have time here. So let me see. Did you send me URL, Deepo?
yes, 2-3 days ago. the
Okay.
day. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Number 31,
31. Okay.
the first one. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you can see, I guess I have,
Precondition here.
yes.
So you have precondition as area manager, AM training exists in the system, username, AM training, username, password. Okay, which is fine. So enter rflip URL, you log in, use and enter whatever supplied. So you want to say AM training, username and password. Okay. Access, create new rfrep user module. So I think this is based on what you have seen, right? You can update the step to access user module or user management module.
User management module.
Right?
Yes.
That's the module name. So you can change the step to reflect that thing. Enter required information of a new user and click save.
So this is where people, I would just say it's, you need to provide specific details. What is required information?
Yes, for rfrep, we need required is territory and territory miles and territory population.
Is that all I need? Don't I need it
No,
first name,
along,
last name, and all those
yes,
things?
along with all the regular details for a area rfrep user and dealer user, this is must for the rfrep user. So definitely the first name, last name, all the details.
But again, if you don't specify this and you just say it's enter required information, how am I supposed to know what is required?
Because from the same module, you can create different user types. So you want to specify that piece of information here. Make sure you select user type as a rfrep user or area manager, whatever user you are creating.
Right. Also, the expected result in this case, right? When I save it, right? Wasn't the goal is that I'm going to create a new user and not necessarily I can supply the required information. Right? Your expected result for step number 5 should be just saying, hey, the rfrep user is created with XYZ user ID.
Yes.
Right? And that user ID will be based on whatever the information that you specify in this action, right? Let's say if it was a Bob Smith, then you can just say, hey, it's created with a B Smith as a user ID, right? And then when you write number 6, when you say verify new rfrep user is created with the required information, well, how do you going to verify it? Remember, you have when you're doing an action, you have to tell it how you're going to perform that task, not necessarily what task needs to be performed.
Okay.
So Dilip, I have a question. Like, at step 5, you enter required information. So do we have to put like enter first name, last name?
Yes, everything. Not only just enter first name, right? It should be enter Bob as first name, enter Smith as last name.
This
you
will
have
be
to specify
all 5
those.
on step 5, or it will be go on like
you can do the attachment on step 5. I think that's easier. So you will see the attachment right there. And when you're executing it, you just open the attachment and supply all the information from the attachment. But you can say first name in the Excel, right? If you are putting Excel, you say first name is this, for last name is this, password is this, all these required fields and everything.
So think about it, right? Irrespective of whether you do as an attachment or you do it specifically in the steps, you need to provide that information for tester to successfully create that user.
Okay, so the test file will be like see the Excel attached test file.
Yeah,
for
it's
the
step 5 could be is if you're putting it into the attachment. Step 5 could be is that use the information from the attachment to create a new user.
Got it. Thank you.
Right.
Okay.
So can I ask you a question for the attachment? Whatever we are giving the information, providing the information here, that attachment should be in the Word document, Excel, or the exactly
It doesn't
the
matter.
system.
Whatever you do that, right? So
okay.
Again, whatever the system accepts it in terms of format, you can attach it.
Okay.
Typically, most of the companies will have some sort of standard in saying that, hey, if you're going to do an attachment and you're going to provide the data, it has to be in this format or it has to be in this type.
Okay. So I have written the detailed steps in the notebook and my Word document, but I didn't do it in the Azure.
Just take a picture, attach that picture to the as attachment, and you are fine.
Okay.
Now
As
think
long as
of
it's
this
there.
way, Deepo, right? So if this
Yes.
one is okay, but imagine yourself working at a company and they're using this tool, right? You're
Yes.
writing test case, somebody else in the team is executing the test case. Will they have access to your notebook?
No.
All right. So if they don't have access to your notebook, can they understand what steps you wanted it to run?
Nobody can understand from this
Precisely.
steps.
Yeah.
That's where the whole purpose of this tool is that you specify all the details here. And then you can put it, as Herschel mentioned, as an attachment or that.
Mm.
Okay, so once you correct that, your step number 6 also needs to be corrected, Deepo.
Yes.
On the basically verification, right? How you plan to verify.
Yeah.
Basically.
So
Now-
yes, okay, I understood. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So now your original question was around post conditions, right?
Yes.
So the step number 7, where you put a post condition that area manager can create RFREP user, that's not post condition. That's you're telling a statement that, hey, I'm able to do this work. Your post condition should be is a new RFREP user is created in the system with such and such user ID. That's your post condition.
Mm.
Mm.
Because
Yes,
that is
with
what
a
was
very
changed in the
specific
system.
information. Yes.
That was what was changed in the system.
Okay.
Yes.
So my question is, so then the attachment should correspond with the number 7 as she gives the details of the new AFRA.
No,
Number
it
5.
should be in step 5. Whatever step where I need that information, attachment should be there.
I see.
Harshal, can you please pull my URL and check
Okay.
one of the test cases maybe?
Okay. So I think we are good, Deepo, right? You can
Yes.
correct that and
Yes.
take a look at it.
Yes, I took a very wrong impression of that attachment. So
Okay.
this is very clear now. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Susri, I'm trying to find. Okay. Did you send me? Yep. Okay. It's here. Did I type in one? Looks like your project is not public. Okay, so I'm not able to see the project, Susri.
So you want to, because I
What-
tried to create it as public, but it didn't allow me.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and share your screen here? That's if that's easier.
Yeah, I will do that, yes.
Okay.
Can we go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead and pull up the test.
Can you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yep.
Okay, so maybe the case 46, lender can only approve or reject credit
Okay.
application by changing status of the first case. Let's say lender can approve credit application by changing status.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Can you expand this? Click on this here. Yep. You can just make it. Yep, that's good enough.
Okay, so my precondition will be lender, test lender, or L training exist in the system.
Okay.
Then dealer, let's say Tansky Toyota or G training exist in the system.
Okay, so you are saying dealer exists in the system. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yes, because I need to create the credit application.
Sure.
Okay, then enter URL of affluent site.
Okay.
Then I'm
Login.
on.
That's fine. Expected result, we can see it. I'm just trying to see the logical. So
Yeah.
log in as a dealer user. then click on new credit application, enter all the necessary information like etc. etc. Okay. Again, you
So-
want to be specific here, right? What
yes, yes.
information
Yes.
you are
Yes.
supplying.
Yes, yes. Means
Okay.
there are like bunch of maybe some 20 or 30. Yeah, I'll do that. Yes.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
just put it as an attachment as well. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what about the expected result there?
New credit application is submitted and session timed up page opens up. Is that what the expected behavior is?
I'm sorry, can you just,
So on number 6,
yeah,
right? You said that new credit application is submitted in the expected result.
yeah, that's what
And
my question was. No, it's not expected. Means it
yeah, so
happens.
you shouldn't put that expected as expected result. Okay. The session
Right.
timeout, you are not expecting that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but new credit application is saved or submitted, which is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
So
can
I
correct
will
that.
get the bug for this step.
No, when you not right
Again,
now,
We
right?
are not executing anything, right? Right now, all you're just writing it, designing it. So you should design it from saying is that if I do this, what should I expect in the system?
Okay.
So you
So
don't
your,
create bug
your
here.
expectation is what? A credit application is going to be created and you will get an ID, right?
Yes.
So that's what you should put it up there. Now,
So
right after step 6,
okay.
right?
Mhm.
You already logged in as a dealer,
Yes.
right? You have to log out, right? Because you can't just log in as a lender on top of a dealer is already logged in. Either you have to say that, hey, I'm going to open a completely new browser
Okay.
and
So
going
I
to
have
enter
to
the
put that step
URL and
here.
then that.
Okay. I
Or
have-
in the existing one, you said, I'm going to log out.
okay.
And now I'm going to log in as the lender.
Okay.
Now, one crucial piece of information that you're missing
Mhm.
on step number 6 is you need to make sure that that application is going to be assigned to that particular lender.
Yeah.
Because if it's not there, even if you log in as some other lender, it's not going to work.
That's why I already mentioned this lender exists.
No. There are two different things. The lender exists is
Yeah.
one thing,
Yeah.
but when you create the application, you have to assign that application to that particular lender.
To test lender.
Oh
in your-
yeah,
in your test.
I did the testing with that, but yeah, I need to mention here. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
mention
will
that.
do
Yep.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the step number 6, you can put that as well.
Yeah, to the particular
Yeah.
lender. Yes, I'll
Yep.
do that.
Yep. Okay. All right. Scroll down. Okay. So click on application ID, try to change the status pending to approved and save it. Okay. Session timeout page is opening up, which is not expected. Okay. So again, here, what's supposed to
So-
be expected, right?
Yeah, Herschel, even before that, right? Look
Yeah.
at the expected result of step 7.
Yeah.
That's not when the credit application is getting generated with the pending status. That credit application got generated on step number 6. The expected result for step 7 should be is I'm on the lender homepage.
Yes.
Look at it. What is the action? Right?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So you need to correct the expected result here that you are on the lender homepage.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the next step will be click on the credit application ID.
Yes. So make sure you put okay. So ID you have it. Then you are trying to change the status pending it to approved and save it, right? But I
Yes.
think the expected result again is incorrect here.
Okay.
You are what you are saying is credit application status is saved successfully and saved as approved. Basically, that's what you are saying, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Yeah, I would probably break step 8 into 2
Yeah.
different steps.
yeah.
Okay.
One step is click on that ID,
Mhm.
and then expected result is like ID, like it's that application is opened up into the window, right? And
Right.
the following step should be is that, hey, I'm going to now move from a pending to an approved status. And the expected result is the application is now saved in the approved status. Then I have to log out,
Mhm.
right? Now, one of the things that you missed it in the expected result is every time you change the status or generate the credit application, that
Mhm.
email goes out to the lender. You need to make sure you put that in expected result because both the conditions should happen.
Okay.
Then you log out as a lender, and then you log back in as the dealer,
Dealer.
because step number 9, you're still logging back as a lender. Right? So that needs to be fixed to log in back as a dealer.
Okay.
And your expected result is dealer homepage. Then you go and say, I'm going to pull that application and then validate that status has been in the approved status.
I need to go to the dealer. Why I can't check in that lender?
Well, remember, who is
Yeah.
going to validate? I as a login as a lender, I changed the status, right?
Yes.
I saved it. I need to make sure that that status is now visible by others, right?
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes.
And who is the other? Probably most likely dealer has access
Dealer.
to the application too.
Yes.
Okay. So you need to correct a few things. Okay.
Yes. I'll do.
In the test case and remove the session timeout things because you are not executing at this point. So you shouldn't have be putting any of those things here.
Okay.
And when you are creating the test case, right? Don't look at the system, okay? Because system may have bugs and it's not going to match with the requirement.
Right.
So your test case will have incorrect information, kind of like what you have
They
here.
don't look at the what? Excuse me.
The actual system. When you are writing the test cases, you may not have a system. You in the real life,
Okay.
we gave you access here so that you can get familiar with it when you are executing it, your test cases. But when you are writing your test cases, write it according to the what's in the requirement, not how the system is built.
Yes. Understood. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Yeah, you can stop sharing. Okay. I think we are almost at the time. We got 4 minutes. Anybody else wants to take a look at it? Anything?
I think I found mine. So if you can look at mine, maybe
Okay.
the number.
Yeah, let me just pull that up quickly, Jesse. Joyce.
I'm gonna sue you.
I know. I gotta remember now. All right. Okay, what's the number?
I have. We can look at 23. I think 23 is ready.
68? 23?
23.
23?
Yeah, I have 23. I have 56. Both of them is ready, I think.
23 is the issue.
It's not ready?
No, that's the issue. It's not a test case.
Oh, wow. It shows that I have a test. Can you look at 56?
36 or 56? 56,
yeah.
okay.
I have test cases.
Okay. It's not here. Where are you writing? See, this one is you are creating as an issue. So this is a requirement. 56 is a requirement. Let me see.
So,
Rachel, are you sharing the screen?
Oh, sorry. I'm not probably. Hang on. Okay. So you see here, number
Yes.
56. This is the issue. Okay. So it's not. I need the test case number. So there are a bunch of test cases here. Okay. So let me see. I think what you did here, I think I can see it. Okay.
Okay.
You created that every step as a different test case. Okay.
Okay.
So I think you probably did something wrong here. Go ahead and share your screen. Do you have this portal open? I can quickly show you what you need to do.
What do you want? You want me to give you?
So here, I'm gonna go to mine, okay?
Okay.
So the way you are creating right now is you have this test. So you are writing, you are creating saying add test, and then you are typing in the step here.
Okay.
That's what I see for precondition and so forth here, okay, on yours. So these are, so like precondition, I see it, it's created as a test case. What you need to do is type in the title. Validate unique franchise number. This is my title. Okay. All right, this is okay, doesn't matter. It's a wrong
Yes.
spelling. But
Yes.
then you click on that link,
Yes.
and then you write the actual steps.
Yes.
So this is where you should be writing your steps. So this should be your precondition here, step whatever precondition is. Then you have a second step, say log into our flow. Okay. Go
Yes.
to dealer, go to calculator page. Okay, something like that. So your test step should be here. Okay, then you save and close, and you will see only one test case. So right now, if I go, you have all this bunch of test cases.
Yeah.
And when I click on it, they are empty because there is nothing there, right? So see, excess credit application, I see only this thing for all the steps.
Yeah. So I did that, and also I did run the test, and that's why I missed some of them. So I don't know what that,
No,
I did that.
but you did not create it properly, the test case.
Okay.
Okay, so I have 3 steps here, right? With this. So if I come here and if I run it, this particular test case, I should see all 3 steps right there.
Yes.
Okay, so I see 3 steps. So yeah, I'm going to log in, pass, fail, whatever, and I can create a bug right from here.
Okay.
Okay, so make sure you maybe go back to the video. I think I sent you, right? For this particular piece, and follow the steps there.
Okay.
If you are having issue.
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I think we are almost at the time. So we'll wrap up here. Okay. And,
yes, Harshal, just curious question. How many
Sure.
tests we need to write approximately each day in the future if we can get the job on basis of this?
That's what you're going to be doing day in and day out.
Oh my God.
So
that's all day job.
Roughly 50% of your work is analyzing the requirements, coming up with the test cases, documenting them, and working through that process. Okay. 50%, yeah, you will be doing some execution depending on, you may not be working on one project. Okay. Most likely you will have multiple projects. So you'll be working through different requirements, different test cases, and all different things. But that's the core of your work. Okay.
Yes.
So again, on average, I mean, if it takes you 1 hour to write it or 2 hours to create it, but as you get more experience, right, you might be able to knock it down in maybe 15 minutes or 30 minutes.
Yes, sir.
So
yes.
that's all it is. So yeah.
Yes, but today's new thing is very much needed, I guess, permittable and exclusive testing, which is a very good information for me.
Well, now you have different exposure. So now you can think
Yes.
through a little bit further. And I think it's the same thing for everybody else. So, yep.
Yeah.
But you trust me, you're not going to find anything more than what you are doing here. Okay. These are the most common things you will do day in and day out.
Yes, that
You
is
will
sigh
have
of
searches.
relief.
See,
Yes.
all it takes is search something, create some new stuff, update some information, and delete some. Delete is very rare in generally in the systems. So you will have CRUD type of operations. That's what you are doing here. Search is the most complex you can get.
Okay.
But there are other business rules and everything else that happens in the backend. So you need to get familiar with those, like validation, required fields, non-required fields, and so forth. That's something which you have some test cases for that as well. So some calculations happening, right? That's what you are testing calculation wise. Yeah. So, but these are common scenarios that you will come across at work. So,
okay.
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 Thank you.
Thank
Alrighty. I think we will start on new things on Saturday, but definitely bring your laptop. So that's needed. And we'll work through few new stuff. But if make sure you finish this work, okay? Because that's something that definitely this is the core of your work at work, wherever you end up. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay, then we'll
Thank
see you
you.
guys Saturday.
Have a good
Okay,
evening.
okay.
Good night.
Bye-bye,
Alrighty.
Thank you
guys.
and
Bye-bye.
good night.
Alrighty.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Hey, Harshal.
बोल दे ले, શું કહે છે?
Okay. So what is the plan for Saturday? What topic?
So after Saturday, we can tackle the HTML and all those things. I think,
So
and,
HTML, XML, and coding.
yeah, and I think database stuff, I don't think these guys are ready yet. So we can do the, if we have time, we can go through the database part as well.
Yeah, I think HTML, XML will probably, and programming will probably take only half the time. The other half, we can do the database. And
Right.
then like in the meantime, we can install the
SOAP
the
UI.
SOAP UI,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
And
so,
on
so we can
Sunday,
plan.
Sunday we can do a SOAP UI.
Yep.
And then what else you want to do it though? Sunday.
So SOAP UI and Jira, I think are two parts, right? We have to get them some exposure to Jira as well.
Okay,
So
so we can do that on Sunday, right? We can just do a SOAP UI, let them do that.
Yep.
And then the last hour, we can just walk them through Jira to say, hey, this is a like to like type of thing.
Yep. That, and then let them work through at home, create the test cases in Jira, and should be all right.
Okay. And then the next weekend, then what do you have to do?
પછી તો આપણે UFT, we'll tackle UFT, right? First.
That's it?
Yeah,
And
UFT. Ruby
following,
Cucumber નું છે, that's a wrap up. Yeah.
that's on a Sunday, right? So,
Yeah.
okay. I just want to make sure that we have those. Now, the other thing I'm kind of thinking, Herschel, I don't know whether we did this or not.
Okay.
We might want to just take out the ALM because not many people are now using. Most of the people, as I
Yeah, we don't do ALM
Azure
now. I mean,
that.
we told them already. We are not giving them ALM.
Okay,
So,
so eventually what we want to do it is we want to take out that ALM from the material also. Sorry, Harshal.
Oh, yeah.
This conversation is getting recorded. Shut it off.
Yeah.